Sometimes people might be sneakily using their lat muscles or their chest muscles to help with their exhale. What this can do is this can end up creating a lot of pressure down into your lower abs and pelvic floor. It can contribute to neck tightness, and it can also contribute to back tightness. So let's explore it and see if this is you. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna lay down on your back, and you're gonna be a little bit away from a wall, and we're gonna take your arms and you're gonna reach overhead to kind of 120 degrees here with it. So we don't wanna go so far that then our ribs are flaring. If you're going up here and your ribs are flaring, that's also kind of an indication that you have some restriction and tightness in this low back area or lower ribs that we need to open up. But that's a topic for a different post. So we're reaching here, and what we're gonna focus on here is that I'm going to inhale and exhale, and as I exhale, what happens with my arms? So I'm gonna get a nice big 360 inhale, breathing into my side and back and hips and chest wall. And then as I go to exhale, what ends up happening? Am I able to keep my hands touching here, or is the tendency for my hands to move and pull down this way, or my armpits to pull down this way? Both of those are signs that I find people end up doing when they're using more of their lats or their chest and even some of their upper abs to help pull their ribs down. What we want to do instead is be able to keep length through that core canister and isolate more of our abs as a whole unit and those little intercostal muscles instead of using those accessory breathing muscles and shoulder muscles here. So what we can do to help is, one, simply awareness. So what I can practice on are my inhales and exhales here with keeping my fingertips here. So knowing that my tendency is to pull down like this, I'm gonna have to counter that by thinking about continuing to reach for the wall here. So I'm gonna inhale into my back, side, hips, and chest wall. And then as I go to exhale, keep reaching with my arms, which might not mean that my ribs come down as far, but it's helping to unstick that pattern and help me be able to isolate just those ribs moving without pulling down from my shoulders. Then when I go to inhale again, thinking about breathing into my sides and into my backs is further going to inhibit and lengthen my lats, and then exhale and come down as I continue to reach. We can boost that one a little bit by adding a band to it. So I could wrap a band around my lower back here. And so I'm adding some extra resistance here to get a little bit more serratus involved with it. And I'm going to inhale again into my back and ribs and hips and chest wall. And then as I exhale, can I keep that reaching as my ribs come down? Keeping a little bit of tension in those front lower ribs. Inhale again into your sides, back, chest wall, and hips. And then exhale, feeling everything connect together without those fingertips moving a millimeter or those shoulder blades melting down. Sometimes we need that added resistance to give us something to push into. We're making sure with those reaches that we're not shrugging up in our shoulders or neck or reaching so far that we're coming kind of over top here. The last tip to help with this is thinking about not pulling down in the armpits. So sometimes you might have to think about kind of fluffy armpits or keeping length through your sides. And along with that, we might have to down regulate the intensity of your exhale at first and then slowly turn up that dimmer switch as it gets easier to do it without those lats and chest and kind of pulling down. So here I'm still in that same arm position, inhaling into all the same places. And then as I exhale, I'm thinking about keeping this space open that I just got with my inhale. As I exhale, and my hands stay there nice and easy. Thinking about that nice hot exhale, trying to make it slow and easy and effortless. One last thing to consider is that if you're finding you have a hard time getting those ribs to move without some extra force anywhere, looking into some rib cage mobility work and ways where we're kind of basically knocking off the rest of those ribs can help make it easier for you to work your core in isolation and not have to bring in accessory muscles.